All right, Frank Bonada here for Sportskeeda MMA. Joining me today, once again, is UFC heavyweight Jared Vanderaa, currently preparing to face Andrei Arlovski at UFC 271. How's it going, Jared?
It's going all right. Just got done training about an hour ago. So I'm still tired. I'm waiting for the coffee to warm back up so I can enjoy myself a little bit.
Awesome. So when I most recently spoke to you, it was just before, well, the short notice fight with Asmat Mizakhanov, which never actually transpired. When I spoke to you, of course, we thought it was all on. I believe it was doctors' concerns of Marfan syndrome. I'm just wondering if you could tell us a little bit about what happened with that, and I assume you've been cleared.
Yeah, so I've been cleared. I went to see a specialist and and I told him what was going on, and he was like, "All right." He goes, "In my professional opinion, was like, you show signs if you don't understand what Marfan's is." And he goes, basically, you show a lot of signs for it, but not to the levels of extremes that we're looking for. He goes, he was like, yes, you have all these small things, but you also need a lot of these extreme things to happen. And like one of them was my hyperflexibility and that like because that's a red flag. Scoliosis, which I have. Like these are just some minor things that a lot of doctors did bring up to concerns. So when I went to see a specialist, he was like, "No, I would." He's like, "This is what I do. I'm telling you right now, I don't see you having it." And then I actually did get genetic test and cleared me completely of Marfan syndrome. So I am 100% cleared that I don't have it. But thing was, I said something to the doctors, not necessarily like bringing it up, like, "Oh, hey, I'm worried about this fight. I have Marfan syndrome, blah blah blah. Pull me out." I made a statement, and they're like, "Oh no, if you have it, you're going to die, and lawsuits, liabilities, and stuff like that." And I did try to argue my case. It's like, well, one of the biggest things about Marfan syndrome is the heart. And if you don't know it, if like, and I'm like, I just had an echo from you guys saying my heart was at 100%. Like, you can't just go from having 100% good heart to full on Marfan's and die, because you could go, if you have it, you could go get EKG and be like, yes, there's something wrong with your heart, and it could be X, Y, and Z. So it's one of those things where like they're just like, no, we're not gonna risk it, and yeah, it bit me in the ass.
Yeah, but now you've got a fight with a UFC legend and a guy you've been maybe not calling out, but talking about fighting for some time in Andrei Arlovski. First of all, does it mean anything to you in that you are fighting, such a pioneer and such just an integral aspect or key person in the UFC heavyweight division?
Oh yeah, no, like I've actually called him out, but nothing in like a
Yeah.
disrespectful format. I've like, this is Orlowski, he's a legend, and honestly, he's doing good. Like, he's
Mhm.
not like he might not be breaking the top 10, but he's not. He just got done beating Carlos Felipe, and Carlos is looking good himself.
Mhm.
So I'm just like, all right, cool. I will, it's awesome to be fighting a well averse Orlowski. And there's this, like, I know that he's a bit seasoned, and I have trained with some older fighters that, like Dan Henderson was like 43, 44 when he retired. Like, he was just way too old. As much as I make fun of him for it. Um, but like, and I mean, it's just one of those people that, like, you get to fight. You're like, oh my fucking god, I get to fight Orlowski. But I mean, like, yeah, I'm getting to fight Orlowski, and I'm excited. Like, I fangirled way too fucking hard and I found out, like, because I was supposed to fight the 15th against Chris Barnett, but he got sidelined with an injury, and like because we didn't officially sign a contract, it was very up in the air, and so like he got injury, which shit happens, and like him to risk a short notice fight like that, I don't blame him if it's a minor injury, because I've been told that he's got another fight later on, so I'm fine with that. But then they asked me, it's like, do you want to fight Arlovski this weekend? And it was like Wednesday. I was like, fucking yeah, I'll fight Arlovski today. And yeah, no, it was just one of those things where I always want to fight Arlovski. Like, it's not like the matchup is ideally, like, honestly, I do think it favors me, but I was never been like, oh, this matchup just makes sense and stuff like that. I'm just like, it seems like a fun fight. And I'm really excited to share the ring with him.
What do you think about because I think it's almost been two times in Arlovski's career where people have started to be, oh, maybe it is time to hang up the gloves because he's getting chin checked and whatnot. But he's adapted his style now to be a more conservative fighter who doesn't put his chin in such dilemmas, and is essentially adapted his game, which I think is a very impressive thing to do for a fighter who's been entrenched in martial arts for so long.
Yeah, no, I think the one thing that Arlovski is doing is he's still learning and trying to improve. Whereas I think a lot of people, like, there's like, I think some research saying that once you hit 35, most people tend to like plateau on growth. And Arlovski being 43, he still was like, okay, I need to improve my game to protect myself so I can prolong my career. I think there's something that we need to look into, like Arlovski, for people that want longevity in their career. And I think Arlovski is a great example of that. And I think we need to take deep nose dives into his career and see how other fighters could have that longevity like him.
Do you see yourself fighting that late into your career, similar to Arlovski? What's have you got a sort of time frame laid out? I know Justin Gaethje always talks. He's got a set amount of fights that he plans to do. What's your sort of mindset on that?
I kind of more or less have like a few ideas of what I would do for retirement. One of the things is like a lot of people don't want to hear this, but if I got cut from the UFC, I would quit fighting. I would quit MMA.
Like coaching as well, or?
No, I don't think coaching, but I think I would want to take my time to actually focus on doing, like maybe really focusing on glory or something. I think that would be a fun time. But I honestly don't see myself getting cut soon, even though like record is like 1-2, and a lot of people are like, oh, you're already getting cut. But like I know certain things about the business side that have kept me from getting cut, and being that type of person has actually opened more doors. Now fighting Arlovski is going to be another door once I beat him that's going to open up and keep me around a little bit longer. But no, like my longevity, depending on what I plan on doing, because I also want to use the UFC as a platform to kind of catapult myself into different positions where I can grow and financially and stuff like that, where maybe I could continue fighting and have a backdoor income, or where I could use the fighting to get me catapulted into a place where I might not need the UFC anymore. As now, I tell most people, like, I don't see myself doing what like DC's done. He's retired and become a great commentator. I don't have the voice for commentating. I don't have the face for TV really. So I'm just like, not like I can't be one of those sports analysts. Like, okay, guys, today, look at here where we threw that jab and we slid right under that to a double leg. the precision was perfect. I just not my future. Uh,
It sounds great to me. You got the
oh,
personality for it, I feel like, as well, to have a
personally,
go at
fine, but I got the voice for silent films, bro.
it.
Like people are always hitting me up. Do you have CTE? Do you have CTE? I'm like, no, I just sound this fucked up all the time. Like when I worked at a bar, like you're drunk already. I'm like, no, bitch. I wish dealing with your ass makes me want to drink. Like I just have a slur and a mumble. It's fucking annoying. But one of the things is like after like certain events that happen in this career, I do want to try to use it to catapult myself. This is a big enough platform to possibly grow and really achieve something outside of just being a fighter. And that's what I plan on doing. And then from there, just kind of going from there. And I do tell people I do want to retire owning a bar. Like that's kind of like the end goal is just retire like 55 and have a bar, a small little dive bar, and keep that running until I die.
That's
I,
awesome, though. It's good to have a set goal like that. Um, but back to your immediate UFC career, Arlovski has been a gatekeeper in a way for a lot of the high, or not a litmus test. You see the good guys a lot. Say Tom Aspinall recently. He beats Arlovski and goes on to make a run through the division, and now he's headlining UFC London over here. And then there is guys like Carlos Felipe who come up short against Arlovski, and maybe that's the extent of Felipe's career. Not that he's going to get cut, but in that he might mill around that, just below the top 20 or so. Do you think that, if you get the win over Arlovski, that's going to catapult you into not the top 15 immediately, but, into that sort of conversation?
oh no, yeah, no. Orlowski has been kind of like, depending on like where you look at the rankings, people have Orlowski like top 10, top 15. I think Tapology has him at like top 14, for example. And yeah, like Carlos, he fell a little bit short there. Now, I do think he's a big name where he is a good, like he's a gatekeeper for like top 15. Like don't like he might not, like he could hang with some of the guys easily in the top 15 and win beat them, doesn't matter. But yeah, no, he's kind of that, and I would agree, more of like a litmus test. Like I do know if I beat him, I think a lot of people will kind of understand that like I'm definitely far more of a striker based fighter than a wrestler based. I mean, my two losses in the UFC come from high level wrestlers, Spivak and Romanov. Now I could sit there and be like, I wasn't mentally there, blah blah blah, and yeah, whatever. But let's say I did beat those three. That's still not the name Orlowski. You beat Orlowski, you beat someone with a name, prestige to the name that, like not to discredit any of my past opponents, but if I beat Spivak or even Romanov, like I might have crept into the top 15 and stuff like that. But I don't think the people would have had that like, oh, this guy, this guy's a badass or anything. But being Orlowski, you're like, oh shit, this dude beat Orlowski. Like a lot of people are excited for this fight. They're like, oh, you're fighting Orlowski. It's like you could beat him up, but you're still fighting a guy that's dangerous the whole entire fight. And yeah, I agree. Like his like Tom Aspinall, coming off that win, and then him coming off of a quick nose fight against Sergey, led him right into title or main event with is it Volkov?
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm leaning towards Volkov on this one. I don't want Volkov to win, but I'm kind of leaning towards a little bit. Like I'm actually a Tom Aspinall fan, so I do want him to win, but I do think Volkov. I think Volkov might win due to experience.
Mm.
in the 5-round fights. That would be the only way I would give it to him. I would take decision Volkov, given my predictions. Are you going to that fight?
I'm trying to. Tickets aren't out yet, but that's
No.
the plan.
There's Sergey Polshkovich fighting Shamil, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That one would be a fun fight.
Are those guys you're hoping a future matchup could materialize against?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't want. He's very hairy. Like dude, hairy. Like
yeah. Well, even Pavlovich then. Yeah. One name you've always talked about as well. I mean, well, alongside Aspinall, I know he was the guy you called me out way back when, but Tanabosa, I'd say in a similar position to you within the heavyweight structure of the UFC. Is that a fight you'd maybe like to take to secure your place in the top 15? Or if you get the win over Arlovski, are you just looking straightforward top 15? That's it.
I'm not really rushing. Like there's a lot of fun you could have in the mid rankings instead of jumping up to the top 15, because I feel like in the top 15 there's a lot of cherry picking. A lot of people are like, oh, I have to fight someone above me. I have to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, you know what? I'd rather have fun fighting. Like, I think Tanner Bosner would be a fun fight. What is it? I feel like me and him, like our stylistics, would be a fun, exciting fight. Us punching each other in the face. We've had our little fun back and forth banter and whatnot. But yeah, no, I feel like that would be a fun fight.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like me and him would beat the shit out of each other. And honestly, I'd rather have fun doing it than instead of like, oh, it has to be, this next person has to be ranked. It has to be, let's say Arlovski to Walt Harris to fucking Shamil to Tom Aspinall or Chris Darkest. Like, oh, these, I'm just like, okay, let's go this person, this person, this person. All right, boom, let's do this person. Boom. Like, there are some scarier guys in the lower ranks that are not getting a lot of recognition. Like, Juan Espino is a great example. I think he's a phenomenal fighter, but I think he's getting a lot of credit because of his controversial loss to Romanov. Like not to discredit my last opponent, but I do think Espino, I actually kind of lean to Espino winning that fight too.
Yes.
But I do think, like that, if that fight ever materializes, I think, Espino is one of those guys that a lot of people look down on because he's not constantly fighting. He's not constantly in the gym. Now, I do think Espino needs to kind of step it up and fight a little bit more, be a lot more active, because I believe he's similar age to Arlovski.
Yeah, 42.
So
43,
I don't see him making that, he can't make this much of more of a career. But I do think, respectfully, he's a monster that, I think a lot of people in the division, might, put him on the wayside. And if I got an opportunity to fight him, I'd take it, because I do respect the dude's ability. And you know what? Let's say I do beat him. That, might solidify all the hard work and wrestling and jiu-jitsu that I've been kind of working on. But like, oh, I finally beat a well-established grappler. And, now I could tell people, it's like, yo, I'm not just a striker. I am a full-on MMA fighter. I have tools to beat you on the ground. I have tools to beat you standing up. So, like that's why I'm a little bit more open to whoever they throw at me. But I know other people are like, I must be in the top 15. Now, don't get me wrong. If they're like, hey, you want to fight, fucking a top 15 dude, I'm like, yeah, fuck it. I did tell Walt Harris in person that I would fight him. But I was like, yo, Walt, if you and I ever fight, it's nothing personal. We're just fighting over for Jason's love. Jason happens to be both of our managers. So it was just us, like, it was clearly, a little bantering. And he was like, "Oh, why didn't you tell me this when we were in the showers? It would be a lot more fun." Just like, no, but Walt Harris, Walt Harris is a funny person. So, but yeah, no, I'm open to fight anyone. Just because there are some fun fights in the middle division that I think a lot of people are overlooking just because they don't have a number by their name. Like I'm actually enjoying watching Parker Porter fight.
Yes, me too. He's a fan favorite.
Yeah, he just bites down his mouthpiece and swings. I'm like, if I see that, boom, that would be a fun fight for me. So I'm open to it, but if they want to throw me in the top 15, or have me fight someone there, fuck it, we'll jump into that. But again, I got Arlovski to punch first, and
exactly. Awesome. One last question on the heavyweight division. Did you see UFC 270, the main event between? Well, I imagine you have, seeing as it's the top of your division, and Ngannou versus Gane. Could I get your thoughts on it, and also just your thoughts on just the whole drama surrounding Ngannou, especially with his contract negotiations, as well as the rivalry with Gane and his camp?
So I feel like Francis had more of an issue with the coaches, not necessarily Gane, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Now the fight itself, I actually kind of told people this. People thought I was dumb, but I was like, Gane's either going to win by submission or Francis is going to win by decision. Or just Ciryl Gane by submission, Francis by decision. I was like, those were the only two ways this is happening. People are like, how? I'm like, well, Ciryl does have he's a good jiu-jitsu guy. So if he commits to those moves, that could be dangerous. But I'm like, I feel like Francis has the power to scare Ciryl. But I think Ciryl will just move around and he might put himself on the back foot more, making it look like Francis at least controlling the ring. And then because I live in California, I live like an hour from that fight where it took place, and I live about 3 to 4 hours from Vegas. But I go to Vegas quite a bit. So I have my ear to the ground when it comes to MMA scene out there. And like I have really close friends that are like, yo, Francis is wrestling all the fucking time. He's wrestling. Now he's not posting about it, because if everyone knew he was wrestling, there'd be alert. And I mean, let's be real here. Like we saw Usman with Francis during the Stipe fight. And, he sprawled, circled, and took his back. And then, like, I don't know why people were so shocked by him going for takedowns of his own. Because it was like, yeah, that's kind of how, how good of a coach Usman is. And that's who Francis has been hanging out with, is a great wrestler. He's going to pick up on some of those skills. And we obviously saw that. Now, Ciryl Gane had a few moments of, he could have finished the fight. That Kimura was fucking in deep. And then that heel hook was questionable. I said something, and people were like, I think Ciryl didn't crank it because he still had like that teammate feeling to Francis.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because that heel hook was deep.
Sorry to interrupt you. Could I just ask? There is a lot of debate around whether it was Ciryl shooting back for the heel hook, or if it was Francis who swept him onto his back. What's your thought on that?
Both. I think Ciryl was trying to go for an ankle lock, and right when he did it, he went for the ankle lock, and as he was posturing up, Francis did a nice scissor sweep, and it was a combination of both. It was Ciryl's bad decision and Francis' good decision that just worked it in Francis' favor. I think instead of a leg lock, and I'm a leg lock person, I love leg locks. If you put a leg in front of me, I'm jumping for it. But like there's certain people like Francis being a heavy hitter. I would be a lot more apprehensive jumping into like a leg lock or heel lock, exposing my face, and then they throwing some big shots that could have, end the fight before I could even finish the submission. So I think that was a ballsy move. I think more on Surreal's part, I think he should have just held him down there, maybe pass guard. And I think if he was a little bit more smarter on the bottom or on the top, he might have won the fight.
Oh well, he didn't, and he lost it. Okay, one last question for you. Based on your Instagram, now I'm not certain if this is correct or not. Would you say you're an anime fan at all?
Oh, I'm a fucking huge anime fan. Not this. I had like one of my other hats is a full Gundam hat.
Oh, nice.
Like this shirt's animated inspired. Let's see. I have like I have like right there like part of my a movie game collection. There's just several anime DVDs in there, full seasons and stuff like that. So
I only asked because I've been asking a couple of fighters this lately. It's surprising how many fighters are properly big into anime. But for UFC fans, because you've had guys like Adesanya who've really tried to like bring it to the mainstream, at least within the UFC. If you could pick one anime for fight fans, UFC fans, combat sports fans to watch and to get them into that sort of, get them into anime, what would you pick?
all right, I hate this question. I get this. Okay, so the reason why I hate this question because animes, like anything, has a lot of fucking genres. Mm-hmm. So based off like your and what you like will depend on what anime you would like. Like I like the action adventure comedies. Some examples are the time I got reincarnated as a slime. I just finished that one. That's why I got it brought first. I found it funny, but I thought, the storyline was very interesting. Then, like one of my personal favorites is High School D&D. The plot is amazing, and the plot is amazing. If you're an anime fan, you get that reference. Like the plot, so like this is how much I like High School D&D. If you actually look at my girlfriend and the main character of High School D&D, damn near identical. If I put fucking devil wings on my girl, fucking look like Rias. That is fucking how close.
There's the picture on your Instagram of the side by side, isn't there?
Yes. I'm saying like I'm not by any means a low key nerd, but and like on my card that I'm fighting UFC 271, I have Roxanne I cannot say her last name.
Modafferi. Yeah.
Modafferi. She's a giant. I don't know what kind of nerd she is. Like, and there's different kinds of nerds. I like some Dragon Ball Z, but I think I feel like she's also like a legit OG kind of nerd. Like, I'm pretty sure she gets down with some Dungeons and Dragons. I'm not hating. Like, I respect her, and I'm pretty sure she looks like a person who read all the Lord of the Rings books. Like, I mean,
I've done that.
I feel like there's respect on her name in the nerd department. That's all I'm saying. Now Izzy, not to be, we're not in the same league. I think he's in the minors. We're in the majors. I think he likes anime, but he doesn't like anime. Like, I have a Japanese RPG game on my leg. It's Persona 3 Fest. It's an anime style video game. Fucking I put like close to 1,000 fucking hours in that game. The fact that it has a very anime style driven storyline, cutscenes, fucking all anime, boom. And yeah, and very, just very intense game for me. I really love it. But yeah, no, I'm a giant anime fan, a big JRPG fan. So I'm gonna call them two out after I beat Arlovski. Just give me the game plan now. I was actually at Syndicate Monday where I ran into Roxanne. I was going to speak to her, but I was busy that day, so I didn't actually have a chance to pull her aside and kind of like see where she's at on these things, because she's also someone I actually do respect as a fighter, and I don't want to feel like I'm crossing the line by calling her out in the anime department. But I'm still calling her out respectfully.
I look forward to that. All right, that's all I got for you today, Jared. Thank you so much for coming on. As always, one of the most entertaining guys in the business to interview. Best of luck in the upcoming fight, and feel free to throw out any social media plugs or anything else you'd like to give a shout out to.
Right now, you can catch me on predominantly your major social medias: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and the Tweeter bird under Jared Vanderaa. And yeah, thank you, Frank, for always having me. It's always a pleasure. The hair's looking a little wild right now.
I've been in isolation.
Because I'm balding.
Yeah, I've had COVID, so I've been in isolation. No haircuts from me. But, all right, thank you, man. Best of luck.